All right, good morning, everyone, whenever you're watching this. Hope you guys have had a great spring break. I know I did. It was very nice, very relaxing for sure. Um, so today I'm going to be in charge of the Friday paper problems, so I'll just dive on into it. And so we're going to start with number 4 right here. Make my pen a little bit bigger. So number 4. We're looking at is these two big decimals. So 0.4, find a quotient of 0.45015 divided by 0.005. So we've done a lot of problems like these when I've been here. So you guys have been doing it probably all year. So remember, whenever we're doing these, we want to get rid of all of our decimals so we can use our division. So remember, when we do that, we're going to move our decimal point over. And so we're basically multiplying everything by however many powers of 10. So I'm going to look at the first one. I want to get rid of all of its points behind the decimal, or all of its values behind the decimal. So I have 1 here. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I had to move it over 5 times. And so now I'm going to write just above it. So now I have 45,015. Get a little bit. And so one important thing we have to remember is that whenever we're doing this, we have to, however many we move on one, we have to do it the exact same the other time. So even though if you notice on this one, I move it 1, 2, 3 times, I still have to move it 2 more times, because if I move it 5 times on one number, I have to move it 5 times on the other. So this is where I get. So now I have to fill in my empty spots with zeros. So now our new problem we have after doing this is 45,015 divided by 500. So remember, when we do this, we put the first number underneath the fraction bar. So I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to slide up a little bit so I have a lot of room to do this. So here we go. So I have 45,015 divided by 500. So 500 goes on the outside. So now again, we go in and see how many times 500 can go into 4, 0 times. 500 go into 45. 500 go into 450, 0 times. But 500 goes into 4,501. So I'm thinking to myself, 4,500, 500, that might be 9, because 9 times 5 is 45. So let's try it. So remember, I put that 9 right above my 1, because all these others are zeros, places, zero holder. So I do 9 times 5, which is 45, and then also a 0 and a 0. So now that only gives me 1 remaining. And so now I'm going to bring down my 5. And now I have 500 goes into 15. Well, that goes in 0 times. So I'm going to multiply that through by 0, and that's going to give me another. There we go. So now I'm going to add a decimal onto my 0. So now I'm going to bring that 0 all the way down. So now I have 500 goes into 150. Well, again, that's going to be another 0. 500. Oh, that's going to be just zeros all around again. So 150, and then so I can bring down one more 0 all the way down. And then so I would say 500 goes into 1,500 3 times. So 3 times 500 actually is 1,500. So that comes out perfect. So when we do that, when we get that, we get 90.3 exactly. So this week, we got no repeating decimals. So easy peasy, lemon squeezy right there. So there is number 4. So now, hopefully no questions. You guys got that? I think that one. We've done a lot of these, so hopefully you guys are getting better with those. We're going to go all the way down, actually, number 10. And so number 10 here, Mrs. Golding, I was just talking about it, how this one actually has a lot of different ways you can do it. So I'm just going to show 2 really quick ways you guys can do it. I'll show how Mrs. Golding did it and then how I did it. So I think Mrs. Golding's way was quicker, but both of them work exactly the same. So right here, actually both of our ways start with the same process. We want to isolate our variable, remember, get g all by itself. So how I'm going to do that is that I'm going to subtract 1/9 from both sides. There's my line down the middle. So now I'm going to have negative 4g is equal to, so 4/9 minus 1/9 would just give me 3/9, which we could reduce that, and we will. So let's do that really quick. So that would be, it still would be negative 4g, but then it would be equal to 1/3. So now again, we want to get g by itself, so we can divide both sides by negative 4g and divide by negative 4g. So if g is equal to 1/3, divided by negative 4. Well, remember, we can't divide with fractions. So what do we do? So it's going to be g equal to 1/3. We keep it. What is it? Keep it, change it, flip it. Keep it, and we change the sign to multiply. And then we flip this. So remember, whenever we divide with fractions, we multiply by the reciprocal. So now that's going to end up being still going to be negative, but now it's going to be 1/4. So when we do that, we get g is equal to, so 1 times negative 1 is going to be negative 1, and 3 times 4 is going to give me 12. So g is actually equal to negative 1/12. So that was Mrs. Golding's way. So here, I'll see if I can make mine a different color. Mine's going to be over here. So again, mine would have been the exact same way. So I'm actually just going to pick this guy up and move him over here for my work. So we're at negative, I guess I should do this one right here, but it's the same thing. So I'm going to have negative 4g is equal to 1/3. So how I did it right off the jump, I was thinking, oh, okay, well here, I want to get rid of fractions. I don't like fractions. So how can I get rid of this 1/3? I can multiply both sides by 3. So if I multiply 1/3 by 3, I'll have to multiply the other side by 3. So now when I do that, I get 3 times negative 4g, and I get negative 12g is equal to, well, 1/3 times 3 gives me 1. And so divide by negative 12 to get g by itself. And look, g is equal to 1/-12. Now, is that the same thing? Are these things the same? Yes, they are, because remember, negative 1 divided by 12 is going to give me the same thing as 1 divided by negative 12. So even if you saw it as, say, all of those, you want to get rid of fractions right in the beginning, you could, up here in the original, here I'll make it one more different color. Let's say blue. Multiply this original guy by 9, because 1/9 is our denominator. So if we multiply everything by 9, you would get what? Negative 36g plus 1 is equal to 4. So then you can solve it without having any fractions to deal with whatsoever. So that's the pretty thing about math, like we were talking earlier. You can do it so many different ways, but you'll always end up getting this answer of negative 1/12. Or 1/-12, whatever you like to put. So there's that problem. And now we're going to skip down a little bit. We're going to do 2. Oh, if it'll slide for me. There we go. We're going to do 18 and 19. So again, Mrs. Golding and I have both had different ways of doing this. 17. That line's messed up. But okay, so we're looking at number 18 right here. So how I did this one, I always like to immediately go to improper fractions because then I can just find a common denominator and go across. Mrs. Golding told me she noticed she would have to borrow from her fractions because she knew that 5/6 is bigger than 3/7. So she added a whole 7/7 to her fraction and then went from there. So I'll do my way really quick and then again I can show her way. So I said I like to change them to improper fractions. So 12 and 3/7. Well, remember we multiply and then we add. We keep the same denominator. So it's still going to be over something over 7. 12 times 7 is 84 plus 3 is 87. And then so 5 and 5/6, that's times, that's plus. And that's going to give me, what, 35 over 6? So now I need to find, so this is where my way may get a little challenging because you got to do a lot of extra math, but again, the end process is really easy. So I find out that my common denominator has to be, what, 42? Which is really kind of icky, but so for this top one, I'm going to multiply the bottom by 6. That means I have to multiply 86 or 87 times 6. 87 times 6, what is that? It's 240, 522. Let me double check. 522, yep. So now we got 522. And then so this we multiply by 7. So this we multiply 7. So that'd be what? 245? Yeah, sorry. Brain fart. So did I do? No, that's right. Okay. So then when I do this, I get, oh yeah, I was looking at the wrong. Sorry guys. I was looking at this like it was 425. I don't know why. I was like, that just doesn't seem right. That's why I was pausing. Okay. I'm good. I'm back. So we know our denominator is still going to be 42. But now here's where I just have to subtract over the top. So what's 522 minus 245? Oh. So I'm going to borrow from my 2, make that a 1, make that a 12, so that'll be 7. And then so I'm going to do borrow from my 5, make that an 11, so that's 7, and that becomes 2. So I have 277 over 42. So I should be able, if you want to leave it like this, you could, because I think this is as far as it can go. 277 over 42, but I believe in your teacher made online, you have to write it as a mixed number. So a way we can do that is just divide it. So again, we would do 277 divided by 42. So 42 goes into 277, what would I guess? Or it doesn't even go into 27, it goes into 277. I'm going to guess 6 times, because 7 times 4 would give me 40, would give me 280. So let's try 6. So 6 times 2 would give me 12. That'd be 25. So then I'm going to get 5, 2. Okay, so 6. And then remember, so when you rewrite these, you write them as your remainder over, what's that guy called? Your divisor. There we go. Look at that word. So 6 and 25 over 42. So that is what you will put in for your final answer. And then so lastly, we're going to do number 19 right here below it. And we'll write it like this. So again, okay. So one thing a few people we still see do is they just do 3 times 4, and then they do 3/4 times 3/5. This is a big old no. We cannot do that. Because remember, 3 3/4 is a number by itself, and 4 3/4 is a number by itself. We can't act like they're separate. They come together to the party, so they have to stick together. So again, you can do this multiple ways. Mrs. Golding told me we can do it the box way, so let's actually do it the box way. Also, we could do it the way with improper fractions again if we wanted to, but we'll do this way first really quick. So let me cut it up and on a different color. Let's do blue. Oh. There we go. So now we multiply all these times each other. So 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 3/5, what would that give me? That would give me 9/5. 4 times 3/4, that's easy. That's going to be 3. And then 3/4 times 3/5 is going to give me 9/20. That's a really bad zero, 9/20. Oh. So now we can add all of these up because these are all different parts. So now we can just add these up. Oh, I bet you guys missed that bell. There we go. So I'll do the easy ones first. 12 plus 3 is going to give me 15. And then I'm going to add these two fractions together so I can actually rewrite this. Let's put this 9/5 over 20. So that's going to be 5 times 4. So 9 times 4 is going to be 36 over 20 plus 9 over 20. And what's that going to give me? That's going to give me 15 plus 45 over 20. And what is that? What can I rewrite that as? I can rewrite that as 15 plus 2 and 1/4. That works out. So that's going to be 17 and 1/4. But again, I think in our answer, it asks us for an improper fraction. So this is really easy to go from here. Again, we just multiply and we add. So that gives me 69/4. So again, that was the box method. It's a really clear way of seeing how to do it. Again, like how I said, it's if you guys ever want to make it, I feel like this is for me personally though, if you want to be like quicker with it, you can switch them to improper fractions and then just multiply them across and then you're easy done. So if I were to do that, let's do it really quick and then I'll be done. Quit talking because I talk too much. We have 15/4 times, what would that be? It'd be 23/5. So look, we get 20 on the bottom. That looks kind of familiar. And then 15 times 23. What would that be? That would be 45 and 300. So 345. Both of those are reducible by what? By 5. And look, it's going to be 69/4. So it ends up with the same thing. So again, that's it. Like we were saying earlier, the beautiful thing about math is that if you think one way, your friend could think the other way, and you end up with the exact same answers. So yeah, so I think those are the 4 we're going to do for the Friday Paper Online. We're going to go over a couple more in class throughout the week. So get these done, and we shall see you guys on Tuesday tomorrow. Be safe. Have a good rest of your day.